fought against it, but it worked. And now Howard comes along. He builds a company because no one can do it alone. The government can't do it alone. The community-based organizations can't do it alone. Private business can't do it alone. We all have to work together. So he comes along and he says, I want a company that exudes love, that nurtures, that inspires the human spirit, that causes men and women to feel that they can go back to their communities and in the stores, yes, that make money in the stores, yes, that contribute, we can give back, and doggone it, we will demonstrate. And that's what's been happening. So I'm here because I met Howard somewhere one day. I don't know, we were walking down the street. How you doing, Ron? And then I think another day he was walking down the street, had his lovely wife with him. That made all the difference in the world. I said, oh, how are you? I have since discovered that she's the real brains behind everything. And what deep speaks to deep. And what inspired my spirit and nurtured my spirit was what he was saying over and over again. He was not only speaking with the tongue of a Demosthenes and speaking with the lyrics of an Orpheus, but he was actually doing it. It's the deed that comes behind the word that makes all the difference. So you're at a pregnant moment. Victrolic language everywhere. You think what's going to happen in November is a big event? What's happening right now is a huge event. Because you will go back with a different spirit, or an encouraged spirit, or an inspired spirit. And you'll be listening for that language of love. And if you don't hear it, you will know that that's not real leadership. The language of leadership is the language of love. A leader inspires. A leader does not go down to the depths. People need leaders. Don't you understand? That's what you have to be in this. They need leaders because we don't have time. How many of you know this woman? She's got 2 children. One is 3, one is 7. She's single. She's got a job, but it doesn't pay her much. She's got to get up early in the morning and take the youngest child to school, and then the oldest child and drop off at another school. She rides on public transportation. She goes to a job that pays her too little and works her too hard. When work is over, she's got to scurry to pick up both children, run by the supermarket, pick up a few things, and then get home and help them with their homework, listen to their day, pour over bills she can't pay. 11 o'clock comes around, she sits back to watch the news, but she can't see it because she's asleep before the newscaster even begins the broadcast. She gets up the next day and does the same thing. She needs a leader. She needs somebody who can help her to interpret world events. Somebody who can point her in the right direction and show her that life is worth living. She needs leaders. Now, some of us are great leaders like Howard of large corporations, but some of us are community partners. We work in small stores. We know, I saw one partner in the video say, I love it so much because they know my name. Why do they know your name? They know your name because they trust you. They believe that you are giving them good advice, even if all you can say is God bless you, or I hope that you have a better day tomorrow. You all are leaders, but you're leaders of a different kind. You're leaders inspired by love, encouraged by the work you do. And it's not just the selling of coffee, that's good. But the work you do is the inspiration you give. And Howard brought us together in this leadership conference, not only to inspire us to hear talk about loving language and loving deeds, but also to show us that the world can be a better place. When I leave here, I'm going back to New York. One of the things I like about flying into New York is when the plane, especially on a night, when the wind, the nocturnal wind, has blown back the heavenly tapestry, and you can see all of God's jewels sparkling in the sky. The plane drops down to about 1,000 feet above Manhattan Island. You hear those 3 bells. I think it's only 2 now. Boop, boop. and the captain or the steward comes over the loudspeaker and says, please return your tray backs and your seat backs to your trays and your seat backs to their upright and locked position. We'll be landing shortly. The plane drops down to about 1,000 feet above Manhattan Island. When the plane tips, you can look on one side, the west side of the island, and you can see the Statue of Liberty lifting her lamp beside the Golden Door. You can see Grant's tomb and the steeple of the Riverside Church. You can see in the north that gorgeous span that links New York and New Jersey, named after our first president, George Washington, the George Washington Bridge. If you ever come in, look, see what you can see. If you go on the east side, you can see the monument to world peace, the United Nations. If you come into the center, you can see Central Park, the slanted roof on the City Court building, the Empire State, the RCA building. And then when you come down to the south, you can see the gossamer webs on the Brooklyn Bridge. I said, if heaven is going to look like anything, it's going to look like that. Some of you from the rural section said, no, that's not fair. But the Bible says heaven will be a city, so leave me alone. And look, listen, it's gorgeous. And then the plane lands. I reach and get my bag from the overhead compartment. I run to get my car out of the overnight parking. It's New York, so you're going to have to pay $6,250. I jump into my car and I start on the street. What do I hear? The first thing that I hear, sirens screaming back and forth, ambulances, police cars, emergency vehicles. What do I see? I see someone passing money, someone passing drugs. What do I see? I see garbage on the street. What do I see when I land? I see an old woman standing over a subway grate holding 2 shopping bags containing all that she has. You know, it looks a lot different 1,000 feet in the air than it does down on the ground. Howard has brought us together today in this leadership conference to take us 1,000 feet up so that we can see what the world is supposed to look like. We can see rivers clear, no pollution. We can see people with beautiful homes. We can see children being educated. We can know what we are supposed to be leading people toward. We are 1,000 feet in the air right now, but when we come down, beloved, when we get back home, we've got to keep this vision locked in our minds so we'll know what it is that we're supposed to do. So when you go out of here today, continue to believe. Continue to go back to inspire and nurture the human spirit. And continue to press on the upward way. New heights you'll be gaining every day. Still fighting and praying as you're onward bound. Ask the powers that be to plant your feet on higher ground. I want to live above the world. Though the world's darts at me are hurled, some may dwell where these pains and fears abound, but my prayer, my aim is always higher ground. I hope that you will be inspired enough to continue your leadership, to seize this moment, to recognize what Starbucks means beyond coffee. It means a better, brighter, stronger, and of course, a more loving world. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. I love you, beloved. Thank you for loving me back.